Faith Forged in Fire, where we dive headfirst into the unique challenges and triumphs that comes with being a firefighter, all while exploring what it means to live out a biblical worldview. Join us as we find hope, perseverance, and faith in the midst of the heat and chaos. Welcome to the podcast. All right.
I can hear.
Cameron, are you going to be okay,
hear
buddy?
you.
I think so. I don't know.
Are you nervous?
Terrified.
Are you really?
No. I don't know.
He's got nothing to be nervous. He has listened to probably every episode. He knows there is very low standards.
His podcast has got more listeners than ours does.
I know.
He's already been on Behind Your Back.
Is it really? Already?
He has.
How come we haven't been on it? Have you been
Repeat
Because then it wouldn't be behind our back.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I only have special guests, not just guests.
Any guest.
Yeah.
Well, hey, welcome to the podcast. And welcome,
Oh, we're
Cameron.
recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay. You sure?
I think so.
Did you hit the record button?
I did.
And I hit this one, so we're good. Yeah, we should
happened
be
before.
asking him.
Obviously, he's
Exactly.
listened to the
It has
podcast
happened before. Man, we're not going to be able to get away with anything for him. So
No.
much for acting all professional.
So, should we introduce the new Jake?
We should.
Yeah, go ahead.
We should. So this is Cameron. Cameron is joining us today and next week. We got him for 2 weeks. He is a part of our church, so that is that's really cool. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this especially because this is going to be, I think, a super cool episode because Cameron is brand spanking new in the fire service. As in, he got his first ride in the fire truck 3 days ago.
Yeah,
go to a
so
call?
new. I'm basically faking it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that is new, actually.
That
Wow,
doesn't go away.
So here's the thing,
You're
though. Here's-
destined to be an officer.
That's right. I've been at this a long
Already
time, and I still feel
overqualified.
like I'm faking it. Exactly. So here's the cool thing, though. Here's why Cameron is here this week. Cameron's here this week because you've heard from a chief. You've heard from, Steve is the guy who's been a part of the fire service, kind of from the support services side of it. You've heard from guys who have been doing this for a long time. And I thought it'd be really cool to have somebody, let's just kind of talk through what it's like being brand new. Later on this month, we're going to kind of have somewhat of that same conversation, but if Rich and I and Jake can think back to our first days and actually remember anything, Steve's going to walk us through that later on. But just to hear what's it like, because, hey, man, if you're not a firefighter, you need to be. Your town needs you. Your community needs you. We've talked about that a lot. So maybe this will help some of you to go, what's it like to step in new? What causes somebody to do something that crazy too? So welcome. We're glad you're here. We hope that this is very helpful for you. Answering the call inside the firefighter's first steps. Cameron, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Take it from here.
Like I said,
Show's yours, Cameron. Go ahead, buddy.
yeah. I mean, got my first call on Sunday.
Yeah.
On that, and it was got to, honk the horn.
Honk the horn. Yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
You let him do that already?
Yeah, I did.
Wow, that's you've moved up already.
Big steps. Big
Yeah, you don't usually get that on the
Yeah.
first day, do you?
First day was riding the officer's seat.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's a 2-seater, so he didn't have any. It was either that or I let him drive.
Sit on your lap.
Did he bring any chow to the station? Usually that's a rookie thing, a booter thing.
Bring a child to the station.
Bring chow, a food.
Oh, chow to the
Chow. I was. It's. I know.
That's-
It's back in my fire days. That's a chow all the time.
But that's not so much, at least in our department, that's not so much for a volunteer thing. That's more of a
so yeah, big city
that's
thing.
more of a big
Yeah.
city thing.
It's a West Coast thing.
I think so too. A booter, we don't even know what that is.
I know.
around here.
I said these terms. The guy go, "What are you talking about?"
A couple earthquakes and their brains all go to mush.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh?
Right, Jason?
So it's a booter is like the new guy. So your first year, they could back out west where I was from. They used to call them booters. So you're just saluting people, answering phones, running around, doing everything. You're the gopher guy for a year until you get your first year on. Then you move up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm already moved up to captain, so
Right.
perfect.
All right. So I got some questions, and if any of you guys have any, jump in here. But first of all, walk us through your thinking process. Cameron, this was from my end, in some ways, now I know that it wasn't, but in some ways it felt fast in a sense, because Cameron walked in the station one day after a call, and if you were from the outside, it looks like we just kind of kidnapped him and pulled him in. But interestingly enough,
It worked for me.
Didn't
it, PJ?
Yeah, it sure did. He got the app, and by that night was like, yeah, I'm in. So walk us through really kind of what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, you're right. It was really quick how it happened, but on the other side, I mean, there was much like there's the reason I have a wife and kids and whatnot, and I don't.
So hold on. Let's talk about, because this is a big deal.
Yeah.
You have, how old are your kids?
So I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-month-old.
Okay, so that really plays into this. This is a big deal because now we've talked a lot about this. The family has to be behind it, and thankfully Sarah is. So,
Yeah,
but I wanted to call that out.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I told the wife, I said, I don't know if I'll say nice things about you on the podcast, but I have an amazing wife who I didn't even have to really give it a second thought. Like, we had already talked about some of this beforehand. I'd considered about a year ago potentially going on with one of the full-time departments in the big city nearby, and just some of it wasn't the right timing, wasn't what was going to work for us. So I didn't do that, but we had already had the discussion. So when I came into the department that night, and I'll probably tell more about the surrounding circumstances of that, but I didn't even have to question if she would be behind me. Like, I knew it. I had already had it set. Like, yep, I'm pretty much there. Like, even when you told me go home, or I don't know if it was you or the chief that said it. Go home and talk to your wife, whatever. I was like, I don't even need to. Like,
Right.
It's pretty much done. I'm gonna go home and tell her, and she'll be smiling, she'll be excited. So that was really cool. But I don't know how much of it do you all want me to tell? I mean,
No, that's good. So talk through. I guess kind of the question here is first, and you answered my second question, which was kind of going to be like, what is the conversation with your wife like? And I think that's major. That before you jump into this, your spouse, your significant other is behind this.
Yeah, I mean, she's been absolutely supportive. Like, she's probably in some ways more excited about it than I am, because she's seen how excited I've gotten about it, and like she loves to champion the things that I want to do. So she's been hugely supportive in so many different ways. So.
Yeah, that's exciting.
My curiosity is, because this is going back to my days of the earlier fire service, is usually guys get on the job. Do you have a history in your family, or are you the first? So do you have someone in your family that was a firefighter at some point?
I do not. I have a older brother who's in law enforcement, but other than that, like, I don't have any.
I'm sorry.
Every family needs a hero,
That's
so here
right.
he is.
Every family needs somebody to make the right choices.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, Cam. All right.
Somebody had to do it.
So, that's interesting, because I mean, obviously there's always a start, right? But usually I always find like legacies, and like, oh, my dad, my grandpa did it, and so that's pretty neat. And did you, as a younger man, was that something you thought about, or is this something that just kind of came out of the blue, like, I want to do this?
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I don't like to make a big deal out of it, because I mean, there's a lot of kids that dream of being a firefighter. But like, when I was a child, like, my first word was fire truck.
Oh, okay.
My mom talks about that, and it wasn't ever like growing up, like as I got closer to career age, like, it wasn't really something that at that point in my life that I was considering or even thinking about. It was kind of just fell off the radar. But like, as a kid, my mom would tell you that, like, I told her my dream job was to be a missionary firefighter. Like,
Oh, wow.
however, those
cool.
two, and it's funny because, like, there's things about, what PJ knows more, but there's things about that where that's kind of closer than ever.
Right, exactly.
And in a way, like, wasn't really going for that, wasn't really trying for that. And that's one of those things where you just kind of have to say, that's the Lord just kind of working some things out. And so that's like one of those, like, sidebar things that's kind of really fun to see, knowing my upbringing and whatnot. That I wasn't trying for it, but those were like, yeah. So it's been there in the back of my head, but like, most of my early adulthood, like, nothing would have led me there. I have a background in construction, and I work in a machine shop right now. Like, there's nothing about it that really would have led me towards joining the fire service.
So what is, if you don't mind me asking, like, what was it that happened recently that all of a sudden kind of flipped the switch for you?
Yeah. So some of this is still in a little bit of development and early stages, but with the church, been working on trying to reestablish a mission board at the church. And if there's anything I shouldn't be saying on the podcast,
No, you're fine.
I don't know what's off limits.
That's where we bleep it out. We'll bleep it. Don't worry about that.
I don't think any of this is secret.
You're editing this one, Steve.
Hey, the more nervous you can make PJ, the better off.
You sweating it?
Yeah, so been working to try to get the mission board at the church reestablished. I mean, in years past, it kind of took a dip just because there wasn't people to lead it for a time. And so that's something that I've taken on to be chairman of that and to build the team, which, again, at like so early stages,
Right.
we haven't even had our first meeting yet.
Oh, wow.
But there's a lot of pre-work, vision casting, some things like that I've been working on. And during that whole process, and this has been, maybe we talked about it early spring, I think, is when we officially had that first
Been a
conversation.
little while in the works.
And ever since then, it's just been a burn on my heart to, I've just been praying, like, Lord, give me something. I want to have some tangible, consistent way to be in and impacting my community. Because apart from, like, I work 40 minutes away from home, and that's one area where, I get to minister to my coworkers and things like that, where God gets to use me. But it's like I don't have anything directly here in town where we're at. And so, like, that's always bugged me. Or
You've brought that up with me for a long time. Just
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm praying that God would give me something in our community.
Yeah, like it's bugged
Like
me.
a long
time. I don't love working far away, and if I could have a good opportunity to come work closer to home, I would take it in a heartbeat. But like the Lord just kind of keeps keeping me there for a time. I mean, I've tried to get out, and He's just, no, we're keeping you there.
So for any machine shops here in the Howard City area, we
Hit me up.
Good luck finding that.
yeah, it's a plug.
Yeah.
Sorry, Henry, go ahead.
I hope my boss doesn't see this.
Oh no! I should've
Way to go,
said-
Steve.
Yeah, he was asking me what's not supposed to be said. I don't care.
Yeah. Those Buckeye fans.
They're the worst. I've just wanted a more consistent, more tangible impact in my community, especially as it comes to things of my faith. Being able to minister to people in a gospel way. And not that the fire service directly gets you to do that, because I know there's some different things about that can still be challenging. But that's been my prayer for going on, since the spring. And so there was a nice storm that blew through town, not really that big, but knocked a couple small branches over here and there. And just down the road, my parents live just up the road from me, and my mom calls me. She's like, "Hey, why is the fire department running up and down my road?" I'm like, "I don't know, Mom."
Because apparently she knows
It's their job.
that I'm on it, so she probably
Yeah.
assued that he might have some sort of inside info.
I got some friends. Maybe I can find out.
I got a guy.
Yeah, I got a guy.
Worst mistake: never show up at the fire department unless you're ready to join.
Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't really gonna do much about it, but then we're just sitting around the house doing nothing, and I was bored. The kids were all antsy; they wanted to do something. I said, "All right, get in the van." And me and my 3 oldest kids, we hopped in the van. We ran over to my mom's house. On the way there, we see the branch up on the power line, and it's smoking and whatnot. So, okay, I don't know. Maybe they saw it, maybe they didn't. So I was like, I'll grab Mom, and we'll go make a lap, see if we see you guys still out on the road. And I was like, well, if they just got off a call, they're probably at the station. So we ran down to the station. And it's not normally like my habit. Like, I've seen you guys at the station after a call 100 times, and I've never stopped in. But it was just like perfect kind of timing where I was like, all right, whatever. And I just walked right in the front door and right into a group, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 of you. And within 30 seconds, I mean, it was, hey, you're joining the department. You want a job?
Able-bodied man walks in a volunteer fire
I
department.
was just gonna say
He's got a heartbeat. He's hired.
man.
Yeah,
you can start right now.
pretty much.
Here's a code.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. And so, I mean, within just a few minutes, what was really significant to me, at least, and I don't try to I don't know, make things a bigger deal than they are. But to me, it was significant when several of the men standing there who don't know me, don't know anything about what I'm working through in my own heart with the Lord, they use the exact same phrase that I had been praying for, that, hey, this will give you a really good impact in your community, a really good tangible impact in your community. 3 or 4 of them said the same exact thing.
And even men who don't know Christ.
Yeah, men that don't know Christ, don't know anything about me or any of that. And it was just like, wow, it like hit me. And then I was kind of standing across the group from where you were, and, you know, a couple people started to move, and I hopped over across the group, leaned up against the truck next to you, and you just looked at me and you're like, I think it's a sign from the Lord. And I'm like, in my head,
Good job.
in my head, I'm like, I don't think you realize how much that might be the case. And so it took another 30 seconds or whatever, and I had said something like, you know, what do I got to do? You know?
Right. Yeah, I think Chief said something about getting an application, and then he left.
Yeah,
he had to go talk
just,
to somebody.
Ran out of the room, and so then we kind of chased him down, and sure enough, got an app, ran back in the next day, got the application, submitted it, and here we are. You know, just a few weeks later.
So, did you tell your mom when you went out to the van, or did you wait?
I did right away. Yeah.
What'd she say?
I don't remember how much she had. I mean, she was probably just like, "Oh wow, that's super cool."
Yeah. She's going, you just went in to tell them about a branch. How did you get a job all of a sudden?
We are the best recruiters. Literally, it was, we're going to shut those doors unless you sign this. You're not leaving.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Yes. I mean, in a lot of ways, it happened really fast, but in a lot of ways, there was many things within just our life that kind of led to me being able to make that decision really quick.
Led up to that moment. So it wasn't quick, but yeah. So that, I guess, how has your family responded as you've talked to them or other friends?
Yeah, I mean, nothing but positive. Nothing but positive like reactions to that. When after we went down to the station and got me fitted up, whatever, sent the pictures to the family group chat. And they're like, "Oh, congratulations," you know, all that good stuff. And I haven't talked to a lot of my siblings much about it, other than just interactions on the family. I got siblings all over the place, but you know, my parents are all for it. I mean, they love the idea of it. My mom, of course, she was, oddly enough, out of high school, she was more okay with me joining the military than she was actually joining the fire service, because she felt like that was more dangerous. Maybe it is. I don't know. She just wanted me to get shot at or something. But anyway, yeah.
That was when he was still a teen. She was really frustrated with him.
Yeah. A good drill sergeant in your life.
Straighten him up. Yeah, I mean, my wife is, like I've said, I mean, she's been nothing but supportive. I mean, obviously, she's not foolish to, think like there's no concerns. I mean, she's talked plenty with your wife, and I mean, she knows what I'm walking into as much as she can, from being on the sidelines. But even, I mean, my kids, I mean, they're still young. I mean, my oldest is 5, going on 6 this February. But they're excited. Like when we got that call on Sunday, we're rushing out, whatever. And like my wife explained it to them what was happening, and they were ecstatic. I mean, they were just freaking out. They thought it was so cool,
I asked Isaiah Sunday, I said, "Hey, how do you feel about your daddy being a firefighter?" And he just he lit right up. He was super excited.
Yeah. I mean, they've been really excited about it. I mean, not that they necessarily hold any decision power, but like when I first was considering it, like I went to all the kids and I asked them, like, what do you think if daddy was a firefighter? They loved the idea right out the gate. I mean, yeah, they thought it was super fun.
I'm thankful. We've had my kids on here before, and their support is important to me because when you do leave, you leave, you might leave Christmas, you might leave a birthday party, you might leave plans that get delayed, whatever. And they might be sad in the moment, but because they're just as much behind it, they're excited in a sense, right? They know dad's got to go help, and they're happy for dad to go help. Often it's kind of a combination of them pushing me out the door, but then they're all trying to get their hugs and kisses, and it's like, so I got a really deep question for you.
Oof.
All right.
Hit me with it.
All right. So this might sound really weird, but especially for our listeners who have never been in the fire service, we have a bunch of those, and so we try to help them understand the fire service. But for those of us also who have been at this for a while and it's not quite so cool anymore, what
Why don't you look at the old guy?
This is dangerous too, because this is probably
I'm an
a
old guy
chance
too. You know,
this is probably a chance for a shot at me. But what was your first ride in a fire truck like?
Really deep.
Be honest.
Like, I mean, because we take that for granted in a lot of ways. We just go. But
Whoopee.
for somebody getting to ride in the big red truck with the sirens and the horns and all that stuff for the first time, that can be a
Yep. I mean, there was a lot of like thoughts of like, I don't know that I should be here. Like, because I mean, when we got there was another guy who was there who could have went as well, and he was nice enough to let me ride instead of him going, and he stayed back at the station. But just a lot of like I bring nothing to the table at this point. Like I don't know anything. Like I asked you on the way, I mean, just up the road, but you know, what should I do when I get there? And you're like, you don't even know anything for me to tell you what to grab or what to do. So
right.
I'm like, all right, I'll follow you. I'll stick by the sidelines. I'll stay out of the way as much as I can, you know? I mean, and you know me, like I want to be as best of a tool as I can, you know, helpful as I can. But at the same time, I'm like, I know when I'm pretty useless, like,
right.
I got nothing.
But that's an important skill, because you get some people that don't know what to do, and they want to do it, and they get right in your way and slow everything down. So
And they act like they know, kind of thing. Yep.
So having the knowledge to even be able to go like, I'm just here to learn and I'm going to stay out of the way, that's huge.
And it's a big deal. I know for bigger city departments, it doesn't happen this way. They generally they just go through the academy and then they get on the streets. Now, for the department that I'm a part of, this last time they actually worked it in so that I think it was Fridays, they would divide up the academy and let them spend the day at a fire station running calls. So maybe they catch a fire, they catch medicals. And I know there was some struggle just on the, because especially then when you've got these seasoned firefighters, they're a well-oiled machine generally that are running together. And now you throw this guy in there. So I know there was some struggle, but from my standpoint, I think that's really good. Like for you to get that even just that first, okay, this is what it's like to ride in a truck with the lights and the sirens and all that, and then to begin to. You guys have been busy today.
Do I need to go?
Anyways, for you guys to just for you to start watching and soaking it in, so that when you do learn, you're not overwhelmed by what's going on. That's just really helpful. So it was good to get that out of the way, and it not that one fixes it, right? And that turned out to be. It was a fire on the side of the highway, so thankfully, even by the time we got there,
It's pretty much over.
Pretty much over.
Yep.
So really kind of in a sense a good first one.
Right.
But those are, it's good for you to go and even accidents, all those things. We'll talk about that later in the month, just thinking through some of my firsts and Rich's first. But it's important to get those even when you feel like, I probably shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I mean, I think, too, I remember, like you told me, there's a cord over there for the horn, whatever. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't know the last time I heard a fire truck necessarily. I'm like, how much do I do this? Like, how much am I supposed to lay on the horn,
It depends on if they want to get out of the way or not. It's really.
Is it a horn? Is it an actual pull down?
Yeah, our new tender or tanker, whatever you want to call it.
Depends on how it's designed.
Oh, I was gonna say, 'cause they usually have like the button on the floor.
Well, most of the custom cab is on the floor, but ours.
Well, and ours is in the center.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got a button. You can hit the normal horn, and it's normally set up for the air horn. If you reach over and flip it to siren, it'll be the siren.
Oh, got
So for our newest one, our engine, it's the same. It's the horn. It's floor. But for we have a what do you call it? It's just a Freightliner. So
Gotcha. No, that's
so they actually, what I like is on this one they actually put a cord on both sides. Our other tanker has it just on the driver's side. So when you're trying to make a corner and honk, it gets harder. So it's nice being able to let your other guy man the horn.
Something I was thinking about, if I can interject, a couple questions ago when you were talking about doing this, getting on the fire service. I think one thing that's really important for, it's for Christians and non-Christians alike, just as an understanding, is one of the things you mentioned is you've been feeling led to do something. And I think we say that often here on the show, that we feel led by God to do stuff. And, when, sometimes we make decisions, not that we would normally make, but we feel very strong that God is pushing us in a direction to do something. So we uncharacteristically will make decisions that we maybe not normally make in life, but when you feel very strong that God is taking you down a certain direction, there's a reason why God's bringing you down this road. So you mentioned that, and I think it's very important, because we talk about that. People are probably going, especially people that are maybe not as versed spiritually, or maybe newer Christians, going, "What is he talking about? They're led. What does that mean?"
Right. Or he didn't pray about it. He just made a decision.
Yeah, he just did, and that's Right. So it's just I think it's an important thing that you brought up. That
and to even clarify, I don't even know if I finished quite that thought, was like how that tied to me even being part of the missions board, whatever. Like it was just part of the reason it was laid on my heart so heavily, I think, was because like I feel a necessity to set an example as I'm leading that. So like I just started thinking about that. I'm like, man, it is like, it seemed I would not want to follow me if I was sitting under somebody who was leading a missions board who had zero tangible examples of how he is actively in his community. Like, why would anybody sit under and be led by that person? That's kind of foolishness. And so it was just like, well, I need to actually start building that in my own life. It's probably something I should have started doing long before, I mean, I've been in the church, been in the faith. I've never known anything outside of the church. I was practically born in the church. And so, I mean, coming to that realization, feeling led to do that, like it was kind of a no-brainer. And I think that's one of those times where there's certain things where God has, led you to do something where that you should do something.
Right.
And then when an opportunity like that presents itself, it's just, oh, well, duh, this is
it. Yep.
This is it.
Right.
And so like there was already a bent towards, I want to be obedient in that.
Yep.
And so then when that presented, it was, okay, that's it.
Right. So there was a lot of prayer. It just wasn't for this specifically.
Yep.
I think of Psalms, we've talked about that even in my fire journey, where the psalmist says, delight in the Lord and he'll give you the desires of your heart. Well, yeah, he's going to give you whatever you want, whatever your heart desires, if you're delighting in God, because you're going to want the same things he wants. And so in this, it's kind of that way for Cameron. He wanted an opportunity in his community. So now when this, for him, it wasn't us trying to twist his arm and get him in. It was the Lord going, hey, here it is. Like, it's right in front of your face kind of thing. So it made it a lot easier for him.
Yeah.
Has the Lord ever put it on your heart to move south like 20 miles?
It'd make more sense for my job. So,
Hey, now.
And your gas budget too.
How do I,
like that.
how do I
I like
leap
that.
the whole, everything Chief
Our
says? from here on out?
hiring process is a little more stringent, so you can feel like you've really championed the world by getting an application.
Oh, are you poaching already? Dude, you just got on the job. You're already poaching?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anybody able-bodied, I'm
Right.
breathing.
Here, let me feel.
Yeah, we didn't even
Yep,
check
you're
to
hired.
make sure you're
You got a pulse.
All right, couple more, maybe a little bit deeper in a sense. So
What was it like to honk the horn?
Yeah, what was it like to eventually you'll figure it out. You'll begin to honk out of a little bit more anger and frustration than
When,
just like, ooh, this is
When
fun.
was your first ride in a fire truck? Days ago? A couple days ago?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Did you
Sunday,
sleep at
and
night?
This is
Or
recording
did you stay
Wednesday.
up like a kid waiting for Christmas?
I mean, the first couple of nights when I got like on the app and the calls, like,
right.
I mean, I was like up all night just waiting for it. It's gotta be coming. Like, I'm ready. I'm like,
Hey, if you want, I'll add
So,
you to our active 911.
The story
We've had
is
6 calls today. I'm getting sick of it going
I
on.
passed you guys going home. I saw you on the side of the highway.
Today? Did you? Did I wave to you?
No.
He wasn't
I'm
the one
sorry.
that honked. He was the one that probably honked and revved and got pulled over.
That was funny.
So, anyways, we'll share. Not to pick on Cameron, we've been there. My stories will come out, in a couple of weeks. But we were sitting at it was Sunday afternoon. We'd had a missionary, and one of the things we found kind of works if we have a speaker is there's a place here in town that has a pizza buffet, and so we just all the church, whoever wants to, goes out. So we're all sitting there, and we had barely sat down. So he got that taste of it real quick.
Yep.
Barely sat down. I had probably had 2-3 bites out of my pizza.
I'm greedy, so I had more bites.
More bites.
I was probably
And you got there later too. And the call comes out, and me in my more, shall we say, seasoned, I was like, but it was a holiday weekend. So if you're listening to this later, it was Labor Day weekend. And so then my mind is going, okay, I don't know who's there. You never know how bad it is. It's a fire on the side of the highway. We've had them where they're nothing. And then we've had them where you're like, you're calling everybody in the world that can come help you. So I'm bad.
Saw my eyes.
And then I literally
Christmas.
did. I looked at Cameron and I'm like, I can't not go because we were all there with our families. So I'm like, do you want to go? And to his point, even Sarah, his wife, was like, you going to go? You going to, So we made sure to go. And it was nice because I knew that if we went, just the timing of going, we were going to miss first trucks out. So more than likely, it was just going to be him and I going third. Well, we made second due. That's a whole nother story. But we should
First
have been
place losers.
We should have been third due is what we should have been. But so anyways, yeah. So it was just kind of fun watching his and being even reminded of that. Like, oh yeah, this is every once in a while. I think we need a reminder of in the heavy stuff. This is still a cool job. This today for Rich and I has been another heavy day. So to be reminded of the overall what we do is cool. I actually, there was a firefighter from another department earlier today that literally said, I hate this sometimes, and we do. So to be reminded and even just see Cameron's joy.
Not to sidetrack it from where you're trying to go, but like that was even something that like played a part into how quickly I was willing to make that decision. Because obviously I listened to the podcast, my brother in law enforcement, he's got horror stories, and so like I'm not naive to think that like I'm not going to have that call someday or, bad calls or bad days in general. But like just knowing that like I have you at the church and I have you and like other people, other guys that are on the department who are men of faith, like it just gave me every bit of confidence to know that even when those rough days come or, that day that might change my perspective forever, like, I was like, well, I already have the faith that I feel like I can deal with that, but then I have the people to put the spine behind it. Right. So it just gave me a little extra boost of confidence to know like these guys have lived through it and they'll carry me when I can't walk,
Good. Yeah. And you need that. Absolutely. Everybody needs that.
A support group is one of the most important things you can have.
All right. We don't have a lot of time left, but there are some things here I want to ask. So, what are your biggest fears? And I'm asking these from somebody I know you don't have any idea what you're getting into. So like my biggest fear now is probably very different from what my biggest fear was my first day. And I don't even know if I know what that was, but.
Yeah. You're exactly right. Cause like at this point, like I know fire's hot, but I don't know, fire well enough to be scared of, what it can be. So,
I'm not laughing at you.
So, no,
his tone's going off.
I just got another call.
Oh my goodness! How many calls have you had?
He's been out on the highway about all day.
7th one today.
Oh my goodness! Sorry. He's just getting pinging like crazy.
I'm getting blowed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the rain is coming down. So
people forgot how to drive.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Cameron. We didn't mean to do that.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so like there's certain things I don't even know them enough to be like nervous or scared about them. I mean, no doubt the one thing that gives me nervousness is like I have young kids, and I think there's a measure where like I'm nervous for that call, not the first call where I have to respond to something with a child.
Yeah,
man, that's. Like there's times where if I'm, at work and, I'm in the zone working, but I'm thinking in my head and I'm just kind of imagining, any scenario. And I'm like, man, that I'll get teared up just thinking about some of that. And I'm like, man, that will be rough.
Yeah. It is.
So, like that's probably like the one that is definitely, in my mind that like it's gonna happen someday if I'm in long enough, and yeah, a little bit nervous.
So you said something that kind of tweaked your spurred a little thought here, in that this is more just advice in a sense. You've listened to the podcast long enough to probably know this, but you say, man, I find myself imagining kind of any scenario I can come up with, and when you say that, the first thing that comes to my mind is there's going to be stuff that it won't take you long at all, and there'll be from the goofiest things to the craziest things to the scariest things. Like, I mean, opening my eyes to what can happen in this world. I'm sorry. Apparently, I didn't turn my pager off. That's 6 o'clock tones for us. There's going to be this is just kind of a train wreck right now.
You can tell
thing going on.
He's not that new.
No,
he should have jumped up and been halfway out the door.
Out the door.
He didn't even flinch.
No.
Wow.
So, anyways, yeah, just the fact that the things, the calls you will respond to that you cannot possibly imagine.
If you've thought of some of the calls we've been on, I wonder why are you even thinking of those kind of calls?
Yeah. And then, when you say anything I can imagine, I'm thinking, you can't even.
We'll talk about it after we.
Yeah. Or the
button.
pager goes off and you're like, what? I mean, Amy will say to me, what? I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to see it to understand it. So that's just be ready. What are you most looking forward to?
Actually don't know if I've processed that one. I think there's thinking as I'm talking. I think there's a part of it where, like,
At least he's thinking as he's talking.
Yeah.
We usually talk and think later.
much of what like why I joined, like it even has reasons far beyond just being in the fire department.
Right.
Like,
As for me, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's I'm always somewhat excited. Like, when Sarah and I got married, like we kind of chose a verse just for, we put it on, I think, our thank you cards when we sent them out after our wedding, and it's Habakkuk 1:5, and it says, "Look unto the nations, wonder and be astounded, for I'm doing a work in your day that you would not believe if I told you."
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that just always runs in the back of my head. Like, even now, there's things that God's going to be doing in this and I know that this has nothing to do with the fire department or what I'm excited about being a part of that, but like, this is connecting to things that go far beyond just this little volunteer town that we're a part of, and so. As it connects with, my involvement with things here at the church, my career long-term, my family and my kids as they get raised in this culture and things like that, like there's so many things where I don't know what to expect out of it. I don't know what to think about it. But I fully believe that like God is using these things to shape a future that I wouldn't believe it if he told me. And like,
When you said that, I immediately started fighting back the tears because I could have never imagined that Rich would be sitting here doing this podcast. And I definitely would say that if I had to give it up right now, it's been worth it for that alone. And that's the thing, for those of you listening, you've heard enough, if you've been listening much, to know that for me, I mean, it's the same for Rich. I mean, Rich happens to be full-time, and he's been doing this even before he was saved and knew Christ. But now it's an opportunity to reach people and share Christ. But for me, the fire service is kind of just it's just the extra thing. It's the vehicle that allows me to live what I believe God has for me. And it's the same for Cameron.
yeah,
So when I asked that question and he says, well, I don't really know, but the answer is it's not who he can be as a firefighter. I mean, we're going to try to be the best we can because we're to do all of the glory of God. But for Cameron, it's the people that he prays and hopes to reach. And so to know who that would be or what that looks like, I would have never said, well, it's going to be Rich Hayes. That's Exactly.
I would have been the last one if you would have said that about you picked the hardest cookie to crack.
Yep. So we can't know that, but no, that's a good answer.
Well, and that's like today. We've had a rough day, and I called you, knowing that I was going to be okay until later.
Mm-hmm.
But what I was praying for is if there was a door open in that, I'll say the arena, at that scene, that if you were there, you may have that opportunity. And I didn't want that door to be opened and then have nobody there to step through it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I've had to get used to, because there's times where the door is open wide, and there's times like today where I'm happy to be there just for you.
Right.
You guys had more impact on the person who was struggling the most because you knew him better than I did. But, and that's for me, even just having been there when, if you hit a spot where you're having a hard time, I would rather have been there. It's much better than trying to work through it without somebody that's been there. So I never mind that at all. And when you called, that was my thought, is if I don't care if I'm just going to be on scene for Rich, that's all I care.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And that's one of the kickers about this fire service, that, Cameron is going to make people's lives better just by being on a call.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very, very good possibility that he's going to touch and change lives, and he's never going to know it.
Oh yeah.
Nobody ever stops by and says, you really made a difference for me. And it happens very seldom, and that's not what we're here for. We're not here for the cookies and a pat on the back. Mm-hmm. But there's many opportunities you go home and you go like, man, I did the best I can. I hope I made somebody's day a little bit better.
I have walked past people in the store. We've talked about the uniqueness of serving in your own community. I have walked past people in the store, looked at them, and realized who they were and went, oh, they made it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And as I walked by, they had no clue who I was, because whether it was a matter of just everything that was going on, or they might not even been conscious during the thing that was happening. Right. That's okay. But it's just, you've got to realize there's going to be days you go, why am I doing this? Mm-hmm. And I have to remind myself that, we joke even a lot of times about, we saved a life today kind of thing, because we feel like we didn't. But if nobody shows up, now what is somewhat of a minor thing turns into a major thing, and that person probably dies. So even in those minor times, because we're willing to show up, make sure they get the care they need and get to the hospital, we've still, in the long run, saved a life. And we have to remember that. Wow. So that leads me probably to my last question. Thanks for everybody that's hung on to this. I hope this has been a helpful one. How much time have you put thought into, or I guess, because maybe you haven't thought a lot about this, but one of the things we talk a lot about, and I'm curious just kind of how it feels in your mind now, knowing that you're going to be you've stepped into a role, where you'll be meeting people in the worst day of their life. Like we say this a lot, something happens in our life that's life-changing, and we're there like daily. Rich had that, like the things that happened today were life-changing. Even the minor things were life-changing, right? If somebody rolls a car, I was in the truck and my brother-in-law rolled it years ago before I was married. I never forget that day. Yeah, Rich was there 7 times today. And some of you are laughing because you're listening and you're in a big city and it's 20 times or 30 times. But the reality is you will multiple times be in people's lives on the worst day of their life. How are you processing that? How does that make you feel? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, it's not something I can say I've processed a lot. I mean, there's been some thoughts to that, and I mean, obviously, everything in my thought process. I can't say everything. Much of my thought process, is steeped in Scripture and in the church and things like that. And so, I have a worldview. I have a perspective shaped by Scripture after, like I said, basically born in the church. And so, like, I have a worldview that acknowledges suffering. And I know it's a reality, and I know it hurts. And even though, like, I can't even claim to have suffered much, and my life's been relatively good comparatively to most, I haven't had really any significant life altering events, but yeah, I guess I might blank on this one. I don't know how much really I've thought through that, other than I know that there's a hope that's within me, that my hope from that is that in those moments that can shine through, that I can have a measure of peace in the chaos, that I can have a measure of calm in those hard moments, that might be an opportunity, whether it be for the patient, the victim, whoever's having their worst day, or whether that be for the fellow firefighters around me,
right.
That hope might be able to shine through, that there might be questions about that might pose an opportunity to share why I have that. And apart from that, like, why would I even bother processing through that? Why would I, like, if not for my faith, there's really no point to be involved in any of that. I think maybe you have said it on the podcast. Like, I don't know how you could do the job without, that
without Christ. Yeah.
Because otherwise the suffering that you would witness on a day-to-day basis is meaningless.
Yeah. It makes no sense.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And so then why do I put myself into it? Yeah. I think you and I talked about this. I've talked about it a lot on the podcast, but as we wrap this up here, for me, doing what I do, obviously there's another side of that, which is the Great Commission, go and make disciples. So this is my opportunity to meet people, to, if I hadn't have done this, obviously we know that God is in control, but from a human standpoint, if I hadn't have went, then Rich wouldn't know Christ. So for some crazy reason, God decided to use me. But on the fire side of it, just from the very physical showing up on somebody's worst day, just the command that Jesus gives when he says, love your neighbor as yourself. I have a plaque in my office and it says, I answer the call. We're told to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I often think about that when it's the middle of the night, when I don't feel like going, when I'm putting my own self in danger for somebody I've never met. Yeah. That idea that that's my neighbor, and if I'm to love them as myself, I want somebody there on my worst day to help me. Yeah. So I need to be there for them. I literally am actively, with no question, living that verse in those moments.
Yeah, I think about that too, in the sense that, like, a lot of times, the big decisions in life are, how do I phrase this so it makes sense? When it comes to moral decisions that you might make in life, the big ones are kind of like no-brainers sometimes. I know I should do the right thing in that, or things like that. And so in the perspective, the passage is quoted, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, what comes before that? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. To those of us in the faith, like, that's kind of the no-brainer. But those paired together, like, the love your neighbor as yourself is the expression of love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And oftentimes, that's the one that we, I don't want to say struggle with more, because we struggle with both. But like, that's on the day-to-day, that's the more obvious.
Tangibly loving our neighbor, right?
Like, if we're loving the Lord our God with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength, this is the natural outpouring of that.
Right.
This is what flows from a proper relationship with the Lord, is to love your neighbor as yourself. So they go perfectly hand in hand.
And what better way to do that than to jump in the big red truck when the tones go off and go not that one, please, not that one. Well, Cameron, thanks. We are much longer than we normally are. Thanks for this. I hope this was good for some people who maybe have not walked down this road, and then for some people who might be thinking about it, just some of the things to walk through and think about. It's exciting for me when I see, for me, this has been exciting. on two levels. As a firefighter who knows the camera, and as he gets trained and gets certified and all of those things, graduates from the academy, he will be one who will genuinely contribute to the fire service, and I'm thankful for that. But then as a pastor, watching the things that I have tried to be the example for, and I've tried to teach through Scripture, watching him make that decision, because it's not easy to do the things he's going to have to do to go through the academy this fall, to leave his wife with 4 very small kids, but to see him do it with the assurance and just this. I saw the confidence in the decision, right? I saw that, like, this is a no-brainer at this point now.
Yeah.
I knew what you had been praying for.
Yeah. In fact, you texted me the other night. You're like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yep.
Because I know what he's getting into. So I just wanted to make sure that this was truly what the Lord was doing in his life. So, Steve, talk about our sponsor, talk about our email, and let's send this thing out and land the plane.
Let's land her, baby. Hey, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, we thank you for, we've been gaining some traffic on our email, and we thank you so much. We have a few people now that have been writing to us some great show ideas. So if you have anything we can pray for you, please visit us at our email, ffifpodcast@gmail.com. And we want to thank our sponsor, who is not here today at this show, but will be
by
here.
the way, we didn't even acknowledge that. I guess.
Yeah,
Did we?
it's like,
Sorry,
everybody's
Jake.
going, "Where's Jake go?" No, he's
We just wondered if anybody had missed him.
Yeah, exactly. And no one writes. No, it's Jake will be here later on this month. He's just running a little bit late today. He's got some personal things going on. So redflannelcoffeeco.com, and please go over there and support him. And it's a great for a great cause. It's a nonprofit for a great cause. So please.
And by the
support
way,
him.
the coffee is excellent because you
I
just
was
heard from a chief,
Yeah,
right?
so I was going to do that in a later episode. I was going to talk about that. So
okay.
I'll talk about that later in a later episode
A
this month.
noticeable
I will.
change in the coffee.
I have a great story about coffee. I want to do it when Jake is here. I was waiting for him to be here so we can laugh together about it. But no, please visit redflannelcoffeeco.com. And then also, too, just wherever you like to watch our podcast, there's plenty of places to go. We have Spotify and we have YouTube. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, come check us out and share us with your family and friends. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, and come back next week because Cameron's with us one more
time. Yeah.
You know what this means?
You got a job.
Yeah, you're hired. Every
Jake
time we have a
played
special
hooky
guest on, we get hired.
Many times.
Yeah. I knew I should have called in sick.
See you next week.
See y'all.